Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Can We Talk About Your WordPress Projects? Today, we're going to talk about calendars and scheduling. I have had so many things going on in so many avenues of my life, but I'm going to show you what I've been doing to stay on top of that so I don't forget things. Melanie says she lives and dies by a single calendar. I'm the same way. I have to just be using one calendar. I do have a separate work calendar, but I have it automatically feed those things into my personal calendar. So everything's together. The three tools I use are Calendly, Trello, and Google Calendar reminders because I'm a list lover. I love lists so much and checking things off of lists because I'm goal oriented. I love checking things off lists so much that if I complete something I didn't actually put on the list, I will add it to the list just so I can check it off. I know that's really sick behavior, but that's just the way I am. This is why I love these tools. Let's start with Google Calendar. I'm an Android person. So I love whatever I do on my desktop to be able to sync to my phone, which is an Android phone. That's one reason I use Google Calendar because it's so crucial to helping me remember things when I'm not sitting at my computer. Calendly has a free version, but you only get one event type. In fact, let me share my screen. First, let me go over to the Calendly pricing. They don't even have an affiliate program. This is not an affiliate thing at all. Okay, add that to the stream. I'm going to take myself off so you can see better. So this is the pricing for Calendly. I don't know the pricing for Book Like a Boss. You guys can check it out. I have the premium version of Calendly because I need more than one event type. What do I mean by event type? Here are my event types. I have the 2-hour proposal contract walkthrough. Anytime I need a 2-hour meeting, I use that. The live interview when I have live people on Can We Talk About Your WordPress Projects. If they need to pick a time that's good for them, then I'd send them this link so they can do that. Then a 30-minute Zoom call, and that's about anything, and a 1-hour opportunity call, which is also about anything. Now, what I love about Calendly is I have it integrated with my Google Calendar and Zoom. So when somebody books with that tool, it automatically sets an event on my Google Calendar. And then for some that I have set up to automatically set up a Zoom meeting, it does that automatically too. And then when a client or someone, I send them this link and then they go to this link, we'll just use a 30-minute Zoom call. This is what it looks like to them. They can immediately see which days I'm available. Then they click on a day that they think they'd want. It shows the times I'm available. Notice there is no time available today. It's 3:00 in the afternoon. And I've got things for the rest of the day. So yeah, Shanta is saying that Book Like a Boss has comparable pricing to Calendly. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other. As I tell people all the time when you're looking for a tool, don't take someone's recommendation, although that's important. You need to figure out what your requirements are and choose based on that, not based on what someone else thought was a good tool. And Shanta's saying that she uses Office 365, Outlook, and Calendly, and she's also starting to use Airtable and ClickUp. The reason she's using Airtable and ClickUp is that none of those other things are a project management tool, but Airtable and ClickUp can be used for project management and productivity. But that's another topic for another day. Oh, and Melanie's saying Calendly actually shows the time in the user's time zone automatically, but with Book Like a Boss, you have to manually set the times. So there is a requirement right there for you. If that's important to you, then you might want to choose Calendly. So that's how Calendly works. I also have the event type that is the live interview. That only occurs at 3:00 on a Monday because that's what time I do this live presentation. The way I don't forget things, the way I help myself remember is that I use Trello for my task list and Google Calendar to set reminders. Look, I'm old. I have to be reminded to walk the dog because if he's quiet back there and I get my head totally down into something, I forget to walk him. And then he's desperate to go. And I feel bad. I even have that on my calendar. So let's look at Trello first. As some of you know, I just took on a big client project, as well as trying to keep my students updated, continuing to provide support. I'm remodeling my kitchen. I've got some backlog things I need to do for a different client. And at one time, because I got so into this whole weight loss thing, I signed up to be a coach. That's why I have a Trello board for each one of those things. You might do this and use a Trello board for multiple projects. I don't have that many client projects going on right now. And keep in mind, Trello can be used for project management depending on how deep into project management you're going. It doesn't work for me for a project management tool, but it does work great as a task management tool. I don't put personal projects into my project management tool. I use Trello where I combine them all together. So you can see everything I've got here on my Trello board. The color coding are labels that allow me to see where I am or how important is this. Tomorrow, I'm going to meet with Teresa to clarify their existing business processes. If I right click on one of these tasks and it says edit labels, you can see levels I've had set up are something I want to get done today, something I decided not to complete or I didn't complete it, a task I started but haven't finished. If it's in red, it means it's urgent or something I need to push to the top of the priority heap. It doesn't necessarily mean it's super urgent, like there's a problem. It just means it's time sensitive maybe, and I need to get it done. I mark the ones that are completed as blue, and then postponed, I've decided to put off. I put that in a different color blue. I don't want it to get lost, but it's just not as urgent as some of the other stuff. After it's been in the completed status for a while, I'll archive it because I don't like to scroll. So I'll get rid of the completed one. But basically the way this works, it's called a Kanban or Kanban, however you pronounce it, board. And to add, you just add, I call these lists. That's not what they call them. They call them cards, I think. No, they call them boards. And then you add another card, which each card for me is a task. And you can also put lists under your task. I'm looking to see if I have any. I did for a while. Here's one. Well, I only have one list item in that task. You can break it down into subtasks is what I'm saying. Sometimes I do that if it requires a lot of different steps. I don't have any more there, but I'm not going to go into the details of this. I just wanted to show you this is how I prioritize things that are most important. If this then became more important, like get the yard sale stuff together, which it kind of is, I need to move it up a little bit, and I probably need to move it to a green. I'm going to add a red to that. So you can add multiple labels and move things easily. I could move this from one list to another. This doesn't really apply, but if I wanted to move it over there, I could. That's how Trello works. Again, I love checking things off of a list. I love coming in here and marking things off so my lists are really short. I will bring some tasks over from my project management tool because for project management, I need beginning dates, planned ending dates, actual beginning date, actual end date. I need to calculate all of that. I either use a spreadsheet, which I do for a lot of projects that are simple. I also project management tools. I use different ones depending on what the needs are of me and my client. Once I've prioritized things and anything that's in the red or in the green gets added to my Google Calendar. Okay, let's go over to my Google Calendar. This is how my calendar looks in the month view. If I look at today, this is what my today looks like. Now I added this task here that's called This is a Task because I don't use the tasks in Google Calendar. I think they're clunky. You add the tasks and then you add them to a list, and you can have different lists, but the lists are hard to find and it's just clunky. I don't like it. I just need something to pop up on my phone or my desktop and say, hey, walk the dog. It's such and such a time. Or this is on your priority list. Like this morning, because I didn't do it yesterday, I needed to plan what I was going to talk to you about today. I knew I had the topic, but I wanted to make sure I had everything organized. That's a reminder on my calendar. Now I can mark as done. When I mark as done, it moves it in this list with a strike through it. The thing I love most about these reminders is if you do not mark it done, Google Calendar automatically moves it to the next day. Now it'll move it to the next day as an all-day event. You can put it at whatever time you want. Let's go ahead. I did walk Rudy at 9 and I finished my page builder. I didn't finish the video, but I finished the actual slide deck for the Page Builder Summit. Sean says he also uses Trello. Traditionally, a Kanban board has lists of items based on the stage of execution they are in: to do, doing, and done. Right. So it's similar. It's not exactly a Kanban board, but it's similar. Everybody jumped on the Kanban wagon. The canned band bandwagon. Okay, that was almost a dad joke. Sorry. Anyway, I finished my slide deck, but I haven't done the video. So I'm going to look at my week view, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it over to tomorrow at 8 a.m. The other thing is working on the requirements document for my client, which I did. I'm going to mark that as done. The tasks don't automatically move to the next day if you don't get them done. I put them here so you could see how you could use them, and they're a little different. When you add or edit a task, you can give it a time, you can give it a description, but you can't make it repeat. When I have things that repeat, that works better as a reminder. For example, walking my dog, if we look at this one, you see it repeats daily at 1 o'clock. And you can move things, move it to a different time. Let's go ahead and add one. It's a little different on the phone, but here you get the choice of event, task, and reminder. Okay, the other thing I like about reminders is it doesn't really take up a spot on your calendar. It doesn't affect my Calendly listing. I used to list all these reminders as events, but then that made it so nobody could ever book anything on my calendar because there was something in every single slot of every single day. So when you want to add a reminder, you just click here and give it a title. You can give it a specific date. You can give it a time, or you can just say all day. When you say all day, it's going to show up at the top of whatever day you're on. And then you can also get it to repeat. I've got a bunch of tasks to do after work today that all have to do with my renovation. I know I'm not going to get all those done, but I like to put them at a specific time so I can see that those are all of the lists. Because what happens if you have more than one at the same time? For example, let me just change this one. Let me drag it up to 5 o'clock. Then all it says is 2 reminders, and I have to actually click into it to see what it is. So I like to spread them out. You could use it however you wanted to. You can play with this. It's really helpful. All right, let me stop sharing my screen. Back in the day, when I worked in corporate, we had to go to one of those Covey time management things, and they gave you this great big book. It had a calendar thing for every day and a to-do list, and they taught you how to use it to maximize your time. The thing I remember most is you have your to-do list, and whatever you don't get done that day, you move it to the next day. Because what happens a lot of times is we have a to-do list, and the next day we have a to-do list, and somehow that to-do list from yesterday that didn't get finished doesn't always get carried over to the next day. Once I found that feature, I was really excited. I thought, I'm going to do a live on that because who knew that was there? It works just like the Covey time management system of moving your tasks from one day to the next if you don't get them done. I am looking at ways to automate this even more. And when I do, I'll come back and show you. Just to reiterate, what I like about this reminder thing on Google Calendar is that it can be set for a specific time or all day. And if it's not marked complete, it moves it to the next day. It doesn't interfere with my Calendly settings. I don't think tasks do either, but an event does. Even if it's a 15-minute event, it's going to affect what your Calendly or your Book Like a Boss calendar or whatever tool you're using sees as available time. It can be set to repeat, but you can't set an ending date. So if this is only going to repeat for 3 days and then stop, you're going to have to set a reminder for each day because it doesn't let you say this repeated every day and then stop in 3 days from now. And I love that I get notified both on my desktop and my phone whenever one of those reminders comes up. It's just real easy to manage the Google Calendar, and Zoom links with it. Everything links with it. That's how I'm staying on top of my work schedule with my personal tasks and with my work tasks. I'd like to know how you're doing it, but most of you who are watching live already shared that with me. Thank you. Everyone's got a way of handling this. But for those of you who don't, maybe you'll find this helpful. In our Friday chat, we're going to talk about productivity tips and tools you're using to you ensure that nothing gets forgotten. In our next Monday, we're talking about Google My Business with Trisha Clements. She's one of our instructors inside the premium membership to the Academy. And that is her thing. That is her niche, is Google My Business. And all those times when you get frustrated and stuck with Google My Business, Trisha usually knows how to find out the answer. Marcus says he uses Google Calendar with Calendly and Things to Do app, as well as Todoist for tasks. I've never looked at Todoist before. I've heard about it. It seems to be really popular. I'll have to look at it. Until Friday, when we're going to carry on this conversation, remember, stay productive, stay strong, and never stop learning. Thanks, guys. Bye.